So early this morning, the 2013 Oscar nominations were announced, and I have always loved the Academy Awards. I just think it's a fun ceremony to watch, and it's a celebration of film. So, I kind of have to love it. And now that I'm doing a bunch of stuff on YouTube, especially with, film, I thought, hey, I should give my thoughts. So, I'm doing the top 10 best things to come from these nominations and the top 5 worst. Now, the only rules for the list are it can't be, too easy. Like, I'm sure I'll be happy Zero Dark 30 is nominated for Best Picture. I'm seeing that tonight. But it's a little too easy. Now, not to say that these have to be like, whoa, surprises, but it can't be easy. So, with that said, here are the top 10 best things to come from the 2013 Oscar nominations and the top 5 worst. Number 10. Seth MacFarlane gets an Oscar nomination. I don't care if it's just for original song. I'm incredibly happy that the Academy recognized something from Seth MacFarlane's first film, Ted, which I liked quite a bit. And it's weird because Seth MacFarlane and the Academy just seem like incompatible things. Like you don't think of them as similar at all. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be the biggest thing that the two are ever associated with each other. Number 9. Joaquin Phoenix for Best Actor, and yikes, I cannot pronounce that, for Best Actress. I didn't see The Master, but my dad did and said many times that Joaquin deserves a nomination for his performance. Now, I've always been a fan of Joaquin Phoenix, mostly for his amazing performance in Gladiator, but he seems to have slipped off the radar quite a bit recently, probably from working with M. Night Shyamalan for 2 films, but it is nice to see him get some recognition now. And again, I didn't see Beast of the Southern Wild, that's why these two are grouped together in the same number, but I always love seeing, really young actors and actresses getting such high recognition. It shows that not all child actors are terrible. Just 99%. Number 8. Hitchcock for makeup and hairstyling. I really liked Hitchcock, and I'm really upset at the critical response and even the audience response. And when I saw the trailer, I thought for sure it would just be Oscar bait, because, it's about a famous filmmaker with, Academy Award winning actors. But best makeup and hairstyling? I'll take what I can get. Number 7. Wreck-It Ralph for Best Animated Feature. I was very unsure if this would actually make the cut or not. As much as I loved it, I did recognize that the plot is pretty by the book, and the 2 main characters aren't really that memorable. I also didn't think that the humor or the writing would work really well with the Academy, which is, consisted of mostly older members, but I'm really glad that they recognized its quality, and I certainly hope that it wins. Number 6. Les Miserables for Best Picture. I loved Les Mis, a lot more than I think my review led on, and there hasn't been a musical with such a serious chance at Best Picture since Chicago. However, the critics didn't seem to like it as much as, they probably expected, so I just kind of gave up on this getting nominated for Best Picture, so I was pleasantly surprised when it did. Now, I don't think it should win necessarily, but it's a nice nod that musicals still can be one of the best movies of the year. That's right, critics, you can hate all you want, but I got the Academy on my side. Number 5. Skyfall for Best Song. I don't listen to much music. I divide my media time between film mostly and then, video games, so I haven't bought a new song or album in, it's gotta be years. I know it's sad, but I really fell in love with Adele's Skyfall when I saw the trailer that it was used in, and I liked it even more when I heard, the full thing in the film. It's one song that gets a ton of play on the radio that I don't mind listening to. Truck, stop being loud. Number 4. Tommy Lee Jones for Best Supporting Actor. I know I said I wouldn't do anything too obvious, but I just wanted Tommy Lee Jones to get this nomination so much. I think he was the most enjoyable part of Lincoln. He was hilariously bitter and had just an amazing speech during the 13th Amendment debates, which put one of those Democrats in his place. Oh, Democrats, when will we ever stop being racist? Number 3. Prometheus only gets 1 nomination. Ridley Scott, I love you, but man was Prometheus disappointing. I was heading into a sci-fi film from the director of Blade Runner. Blade Runner! The build-up was excellent, but the ending just boils down to a monster going boogie boogie and running at the main character. It was dumb, and it just made the build-up kind of pointless. And this isn't mentioning quite a few plot holes and just overall forgettable characters, except for Michael Fassbender. I'm just glad the Academy didn't buy into it. Number 2. Skyfall for Best Cinematography. I mentioned in my Skyfall review just how much I loved how Skyfall was shot, and I'm really happy to see others agree with me. What I liked especially was its use of contrast. Almost every shot had pitch black somewhere in it, and it was contrasted with great use of color. It just accented the foreground a ton, and I put it as kind of, it felt like a colorized black and white movie and just how it used contrast. And it only makes sense that Bond looks good. And the number one best thing to come from the 2013 Oscar nominations is Anne Hathaway for Best Supporting Actress. I realize now that I'm pretty much an Anne Hathaway fanboy, so I was really moved by Anne Hathaway's performance in Les Mis. Now, like I said in my review, I wasn't sure because I don't think she had quite enough screen time to justify it. It was kind of, it could go either way. And Les Mis wasn't really as popular or critically acclaimed as some people thought, so, I wasn't really sure. But I'm overjoyed that the Academy appreciated her work in this film. Thank you, Academy, for recognizing this flawless goddess. Time for the worst, because that's what the internet wants to hear. Number 5. Brave for Best Animated Feature. If I thought Wreck-It Ralph was too by the book to get nominated, imagine my surprise that Brave made it in. I mean, I didn't think Brave was bad. It was decent, mediocre, I guess, but it was just so cliche, it's been done before. And I mean, Cars 2 wasn't nominated, and this was nowhere near as bad as Cars 2 was, but it shows that it's okay if Pixar's film isn't nominated. I don't know, I just don't think it's quite Oscar caliber. Number 4. No Best Cinematography for Prometheus? Seriously, this is the one thing I would give to Prometheus with absolutely no qualifier. I mean, it was just gorgeous to look at. The ship was cool, the tunnels were dark and mysterious, and especially like outside on this planet, it was gray, but it was still beautiful to look at. It felt almost colorful somehow. Look, I know we're all upset at Prometheus, but let's give credit where credit is due. Number 3. No Best Supporting Actor for Javier Bardem? One of Skyfall's biggest strengths was the amazing performance from Javier Bardem playing the villain. And, I mean, even his opening speech alone deserves him an Oscar nomination here. I mean, like I said in my review, he was just so ironically flamboyant. It was terrifying because he knew he could get away with it. Seriously, I would probably put him in the top 15 movie villains of all time. Nothing? That's just sad. Number 2. No Avengers or Skyfall for Best Picture / nothing for Dark Knight Rises or Looper? Okay, this is a big one, but they're grouped together because it's pretty much the same complaint. Let's do them all really quickly. Avengers is one of the most enjoyable movies ever made. It has great characters, witty dialogue, and spectacular action. It did incredibly well with the critics, even better with the audience, and it's one of the highest grossing films of the year. And I know that's no indication of quality because Twilight is too, but it deserves some kind of nod, right? Same thing with Skyfall. The critics liked it a little bit more than even the audience, and it had some real emotional depth and great character interaction, character development. So what if it's an action film? Now I know Dark Knight Rises wasn't as good or well liked as The Dark Knight, but it deserves something. It's from Christopher Nolan, for goodness sake. I don't care what it is. Maybe Best Supporting Actress to Anne Hathaway? And I am shocked at the no-show for Looper. Easily the best sci-fi film of the year. It had great performances and an amazing storyline that involved time travel that made sense. Shame on you, Academy. Shame on you. A wise man once said, while art films are, a little fewer nowadays, isn't it better just to make movies that more and more people can enjoy? And I mean, I know these are all action blockbusters, but Academy, you nominated Avatar for Best Picture. You can give these movies something. And the number one worst thing to come from the 2013 Oscar nominations is no Iron Scimitar 3 Best Live Action Short nomination? Of course I'm kidding. And the real number one worst thing to come from the 2013 Oscar nominations is, dang it, I missed all of these again! This happens every year. I always mean to see these films, and I know they're going to be Oscar nominations, but it just never happens, or I never get around to it, and it always just bugs me. I've only seen Les Mis and Lincoln as of now, but I plan to see Zero Dark 30 and Django Unchained before the ceremony. But that's still only 4 out of 9. That's just pathetic. Now, this isn't the Academy's fault, but by far the worst thing to come from nominations is the fact that I haven't seen any, because it's just a reminder that I don't see enough great films. I'm incredibly happy for the Academy Awards, especially this year because Seth MacFarlane is hosting, and I'll be live blogging my thoughts during the ceremony, so go ahead and follow me on Twitter, link below, so you know when that happens. And until then, thanks for watching.